Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is sponsored by Stamps.com. You can get a 4-week trial, plus free postage, and a digital scale by going to Stamps.com, clicking on the microphone, and entering our promo code NO.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for Tuesday!
It's Tuesday, that's right. EA has a lot. Oh, that's all right, I'll take the one
Just
clap.
the one.
EA has a lot riding on Bioware's Anthem, especially after Mass Effect Andromeda had a kind of disastrous launch, really disastrous, and an entire franchise is on ice right now.
Yeah, let's look at that mush face. There, oh boy. That moneymaker has to save the galaxy or whatever.
It doesn't really matter. Now reviews are starting to come out for Anthem, for the sci-fi multiplayer looter shooter that releases Friday, although it's already out, people are already playing it, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Show the graph, it's complicated.
Yeah, it doesn't look like this particular loot chest had the purple gun in it, unfortunately.
Is that a joke? Are we ready?
That's an Anthem joke.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
a joke. Blue, the gun's bad. Big aim bad.
It might not be time to hit the panic button just yet though. But these reviews so far are not kind.
Yeah, Metacritic doesn't have an aggregate score up yet, but OpenCritic does. And based on 11 reviews, it's currently at a 64. So there's definitely some cause for concern.
64-bit? The future of computers?
No. That's
Remember when 64 was the best number?
No, 64 out of 100.
Bomberman 64.
64 out of
Anthem
100.
64.
Nintendo. So in fairness, a lot of these are still in progress reviews, but many critics are describing Anthem as, quote, promising but flawed. Most agree that while there are some fun parts, it's still got some big issues.
Yeah, nearly everyone agreed that it looked great. But then beyond that,
Yeah, tell us more, Lawrence.
So Destructoid had a lot of love for the game's world, praising its visuals and various landscapes that range from tropics to, quote, harrowing ruins to lava-filled mountains.
yeah, it's beautiful. It really is beautiful.
Okay.
I miss back in the day we had to play all the non-harrowing ruins back on the NES. Now we got them in 4K, it's so much more harrowing.
They're beautiful.
VG247's reviewer said it's one of the best looking games they've ever seen, writing, when you're flying up a waterfall with the stars in your face, cresting the verge as some alien fungi pops, creating clouds of neon spores that frame the scene. It's stunning. He then continued to jizz on his monitor.
They also dug the flight mechanic and called it the closest thing we'll get to an Iron Man simulator.
Okay, we'll get one halfway decent game and then two weird sequels that only set up another bigger crossover games?
That is a really complicated dig at Iron Man, but...
I meant to it, they're bad.
So the game looks great and flying is fun. Now I guess we're gonna talk about the bad parts.
Oh boy, this is I think the latter 2/3 of the episode. Lots of reviewers complain about downtime in Anthem, which isn't great for an action game.
Right, Games Radar called the game flawed, writing, in essence, Anthem is a waiting game.
It is.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it really is.
You're gonna be waiting as you move between sections of the game, waiting as loading screen after loading screen keep you from actually playing the game. And sadly, you're gonna be waiting for Anthem to become the game you thought Bioware was making. Ouch!
Wow, that really burned that up.
You take the next one, Lawrence, I can't do this.
Still more downtime.
I feel
That's
bad.
the downtime part of the episode. It's man, it's hard to shake those Destiny comparisons too. Hero Gamer's reviewer wrote, quote, "There's the same loose setup as Destiny. A small group of elite agents holed up in a fort, teaming up to head out to the beyonds for adventures in pursuit of loot, so they might become more elite yet. The same loop of missions that involve an awful lot of shooting, punctuated by downtime in a hub world where much of the story is doled out. The story is kind of another issue here. A lot of people look to Bioware for deep stories, but it sounds like Anthem's pretty surface level. It's got a hub world called Fort Tarsus. That's where all the people are all congregated. Has lots of conversations and dialogue options, but the player choices don't seem to really make much of an impact in the game itself.
Not that I can see.
Yeah, Eurogamer added that the game's, quote, backstory had none of the nuance or drive of a Dragon Age or a Mass Effect.
So what happens is you walk up to people and they give you like 2 choices, but I literally just skip them, so it's just like, I hold down 1 and it doesn't matter. 1, 1, 1, and then just skip all this cutscene. I have not noticed a difference.
That might come back to bite you in the third one.
The Mandarin!
You choose red or blue or other. As for the missions, some said they felt pretty cookie cutter and drew even more comparisons to Destiny. That's not good. Trusted Reviews wrote that the missions are, quote, all follow the same template of pursuing objective markers, wiping out the enemies, and exploring the environment for something to activate. It feels like the boring objectives Destiny launched with back in 2014, and things have changed for the better since. Lots of reviewers did like the combat though, right, Lawrence?
Yeah, Eurogamer called the firefights chaotic with, quote, explosions of color, sparks, and multicolored storms tied together with the idea of combos borrowed from Mass Effect and boosted to a ludicrous degree here. Which is kind of neat. Maybe there's some like actual elevation of playing together as a team and communicating.
Along with that, you'll be playing with other people, either squatting up with friends or being put together with other random Iron Mans. But don't fall too far behind your buddies, because more than one reviewer was frustrated by the game putting you at the mercy of whoever is in the lead during a mission. We've definitely experienced this when we played it. If you drag behind too much, you'll get it. You guessed, basically another loading screen. Hello.
Really, it just keeps putting you in loading screens. Once the shooting starts though, it can also be tough to actually coordinate with your team. VG20 VG247 wrote, quote, the battlefield is so busy with fancy effects that it's almost impossible to coordinate with intent. Occasionally you'll just pop off a power at the right time and the game will tell you that you did a combo.
It just sounds like it's a bunch of ego fluff. You just slap buttons and then people die and the game's like, hey, you gaming real good. Like leveling up. It's saccharine. It wears off pretty quick.
When we played it, we tried to coordinate, and it mostly just devolved into, who's saying that?
Yeah, no,
Come near the tree. What tree?
There's lots of particle effects.
I'm up. What do you mean up?
And then, of course, there are the bugs in Anthem. Your preferences aren't saved, so you have to fix them in the menus every time you log on. Also, sometimes your progress isn't recorded, which is terrible, given that the whole reason to play the game is that you progress.
Eurogamer said Anthem has a litany of bugs and flaws that feel inexcusable for a title that's coming this late to the game. Ouch.
Microtransactions?
They're back. He's back.
Yeah!
Who's got some coke? Yeah, you're looking svelte, sweetheart. Whoa!
EA and Bioware have stressed repeatedly that they're cosmetic only, which is kind of the only way you can get away with that stuff now.
Yeah.
So Anthem has two types of currencies because whatever. The kind you can earn in-game is called coin, and the premium is called shards.
Of course.
Packs of those start at $5 for a pack of 500 all the way up to $40 for 4,600 shards. Probably so you can buy a leopard print or weed leaf camo or whatever, I don't know, glowing neon undercarriage lights for your stupid Iron Man suit.
Well, the shop sells emotes as well as materials, which change the texture of the javelin, and it's impossible to even really tell that you changed. And then there are armor packs, which have 3 different items, including a chest, arm, and leg piece, which change the look of your javelin. Those are cooler.
Man, you should get ringtones for your javelin.
Oh, that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm blue,
Fucking-
Daba Deba Die. With all that said, that's about all we know at this point.
Yeah.
Honestly, the vibe out there that everyone's poised to be real upset about microtransactions in Anthem, but no one has a good reason yet, which is a good sign, I suppose.
Yeah, there's an EA executive that's like clinging to the roof like a demon and his head rotates around.
At the end of the day, the consensus seems to be that Anthem has a lot of promise, but it's not there yet. And given all the other choices out there, Anthem's future is still very much up in the air. VG247 summed it up by saying that Anthem is everything everyone feared at its reveal. It's a hollow experience that's been designed to appeal to the widest market possible while squeezing more money out of those who are hooked in by its doggy treat design.
That shit'll give you a cramp.
Of course, Anthem's probably under a bunch of scrutiny because it's made by Bioware.
Yeah.
It's a studio that's won a lot of love for its story-driven heavy franchises like Mass Effect and Dragon Age.
Yeah, Lawrence, tell a little about Bioware.
Oh, I'd love to. The studio started in the mid-90s. Its first real breakout was 1998's PC RPG Baldur's Gate. It was a real intense game, followed by even wider appeal with 2003's Knights of the Old Republic.
That was a huge hit.
Yeah, that's I think where most people got to know the company. Electronic Arts acquired them in 2007, which led most people to wait for the downfall. But it didn't come right away. They released big franchises, Mass Effect and Dragon Age, following acquisition.
You left out Jade Empire, you monster. Oops.
Oh yeah, that was the downfall for me. Recent years have not been so good for Bioware, mostly just one big hit to the gut. Almost 2 years ago, it released the much anticipated Mass Effect Andromeda. Basically, it wrapped up the trilogy and then tried to continue the series. Most people just stop at 3. It's a terrible, terrible launch. Lots of people goofed on the characters' facial expressions.
They were really funny.
And GIFs started popping up everywhere. Frozen faces, weird crab walking NPCs.
That was my favorite. I really like that one.
Now let's check back in with Mushface, yeah?
I love that smile.
So yeah, after Andromeda's bad reception, the studio that made it, which is Bioware Montreal, was merged into another studio, EA Motive. Bioware outright canceled the planned DLC for the game, and several Bioware Montreal employees were moved on to other projects like Anthem.
And lots of people viewed Anthem as a risky bet. The game is definitely a departure for Bioware. It's a multiplayer game that lots of people have compared to Destiny. Sci-fi universe with MMO aspects and lots of loot.
Been there, done that.
Yeah,
Still doing that, I guess. But Bioware is putting all of its weight behind the game. After the Andromeda debacle, the studio shifted pretty much everything to Anthem, and it's clear that this is a really important game for them.
Kotaku underscored that point in a story last year by Jason Schreier, saying that the studio had directed the majority of its resources to working on Anthem. He added that, quote, there's a sense among Bioware employees that the company's future is inextricably tied to this game.
Oh boy. But others say that's not the case, right, Lawrence?
Yeah, there's one ex-Bioware staffer. They denied that Anthem is a make-or-break game for the studio. Game Informer asked studio veteran James Olin about rumors that EA would close Bioware with Anthem flops. He said, quote, I think EA really respects what Bioware brings to it. Bioware is a lot different than all the other aspects of the business, so even if Anthem doesn't do as well, then I think it's going to be great. But if it doesn't do gangbusters, I don't think that's the end of Bioware. I think it will simply be a chance for Bioware to learn some lessons and apply it to the next game that comes out. Olin made these comments last summer after he announced that he was leaving Bioware after 22 years. So,
So he retired.
Yeah,
he's
no real horse in that race.
tossing his parking permit over his
What?
shoulder and he's saying, you guys are fine, don't worry about it.
And that's enough of what these professional video game players think about the game. What do we do you think?
Bruce, you put a ton of hours
I
into
put
it.
like 20 hours into it. I love the game. I think it's really, really fun. The problem is that I know the Destiny grind at this point, so when I get into it, I'm like, oh, this is just Destiny, but in third person, and it looks beautiful. That said, I've skipped all of the story. Literally every piece of it. I don't care at all. It doesn't matter. You just drop into a 4-player mission, you go out, and you shoot things, and you use combos, and you get loading screens. By the way, there are lots of loading. You're waiting all the time. If you don't want loading screens, don't play the game.
I've played so many action RPGs in my life that I don't.
Bragging.
I don't know. I played Anthem for a couple of hours, and I'm like, I get it. I get it. The thing that always hooks me is if there's any element of player expression of skill. It seems like there's some of that in Anthem, some of it, but it does seem like it's mostly just tuned for you to just stomp all over.
It is.
You're a farmer and there's a field and it's full of rabbits and you're just squishing them all. And that's what it is.
And with that thoughtable, that'll do it for today's Inside Gaming Daily. We'll see you guys tomorrow, where, like Destiny, we'll probably be talking about how much we love and hate Anthem at the same time.
Yeah, we do that a lot, don't we?
Man.
Complicated out there. Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is sponsored by Stamps.com. With Stamps.com, you can save 5 cents on every first-class stamp and up to 40% off priority mail shipping. That kind of savings really adds up. So if you need to save your pennies, maybe you're a small business, you do a lot of shipping, you save those little coins, you can put them back in Anthem, you get yourself a cheetah skin. Plus, Stamps.com is completely online, so not only will you save money, but you'll save lots of time by not going to the post office. You just print off all your postage, schedule a pickup right at home, and then you can stay inside, covered in a blanket against the glow of all of your TVs and gaming consoles. It's a no-brainer for small businesses, save time, save money, and right now, our listeners get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage, and a free digital scale. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and type in our promo code KNOW, K-N-O-W, KNOW. That's what we used to be called. They haven't switched the code yet. But Stamps.com, click the microphone, type in KNOW, get your free trial, free postage, and a free scale, so you can weigh all sorts of things. All sorts of things. I'll leave it to your imagination. Thank you, Stamps.com, for the sponsorship.
Welcome to post-apocalyptic Russia. Welcome to Metro Exodus. Metro Exodus is a single-player, first-person shooter that looks to combine combat, stealth, exploration, and survival horror into a story-driven experience that all takes place in a